Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I currently have our Launchpad's reaction wheel authority up because I just wanted to do this turn a little bit faster. We'll get it turned off as soon as we've got this done, and this is... What burn is this? Oh, this is our landing burn. Okay, sure. We're probably going to need to do some retrograde burn on the way in, but that's okay. I don't mind that. So let's go ahead and get this in position for this burn, and that seems fine. I'm just thinking how much we may overshoot this. This is still 2 minutes in the future. I'm going to move it a little bit further, about here. Yeah, thereabouts. So we're going to start this burn in 1 minute and 36 seconds. Okay, let's get our reaction wheel turned off in the launch pad. And we're going to need to start up this burn. I'm going to, at this point, furl all of our solar panels except for one. So we'll get all of these furled. There we go. And we'll keep this one out for the moment. That'll be absolutely fine. Now we've got about a minute here. So let's continue to warp forward. 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay. So we're probably going to have to burn off a little bit more of our horizontal velocity as we fly over the base. That's okay. I don't mind it. What's our thrust to weight? Thrust to weight is 2, so that is actually quite good. It'll be lower once we get further down into the atmosphere, but for now, this seems fine. So let's get this burn completed, and then we'll play it by ear from there. So we're starting to go down at this point. That looks good. We're, of course, in a suborbital trajectory. I'm going to go ahead and retract this solar panel. We're going to get into the atmosphere pretty soon, and we've got an alternator on this engine. So that's not a problem, and this battery will keep us going for a good long time. So that seems good. We've got another roughly 200 meters per second to shave off here. And I want to put us at, actually, horizontal velocity minus here, which we're at already. That's fine. But we're going to want to get that further gone. So for the moment, this seems okay. We're not in the atmosphere yet, and that's noted. Okay. I'm going to cut off this burn for the time being, and we're going to coast forward a little bit of time here. As we can see, we're currently projected to be hitting up here. We're going to have some drag, but this is mostly going to be dealt with through our engines. We're just a little too early, I think, to do that burn. So I'm going to give this a little bit of extra time. We do have pretty decent thrust to weight here, 2.22 at this moment. How much does this change by? It's pretty rapid. Okay. We're in atmosphere at this moment, and we are slowing down, but it's very, very thin at this level. We're not slowing down by much. As you can see here, it's barely measurable. We should probably commence this burn. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm just going to continue to burn this horizontal velocity down. We're moving this node up to be basically right on the anti-target marker. Approximately, anyway. We don't have to be perfect. In fact, we'd prefer not to be. I don't have no crash damage and unbreakable joints on. So I want to make that clear. I'm going to quick save here just in case something goes horribly wrong with that. But it shouldn't. We're about 40 kilometers away at this juncture. That's absolutely noted. And I'm going to pull us off of horizontal velocity minus at this point because I want to be able to see where exactly that target node is. Okay. So that seems relatively fine for now. Let's take ourselves to surface velocity minus. Okay, we don't need to be perfect here. We just need to be good enough. So I'm going to move this guy up here. That's our essentially sky crane. And I'm going to activate our parachutes right now. So the parachutes are now active, and we're trying to head to surface velocity minus. I'm going to turn up this reaction wheel to help us get there. And a little corrective burn here is not a terrible concept. But what's our target velocity looking like? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so let's move this over to surface mode. And we're just going to bring this in like this. Now, we could jettison this fuel. That is an option. We should probably retract this antenna, but I don't think we're going to have an issue with it. Our parachutes are out at this point, and we are going to want to get rid of this guy. So we want to do this decoupling relatively soon. And yeah, we can see we're coming down a little bit away. That's exactly what we want. We want to come down somewhat away from this. So I'm going to slow us down somewhat. This is just surface velocity minus at this point. Our chutes are safe, though. So, chutes are out. I'm now going to ditch this. We don't need that fuel anymore. So down that goes. And that will, of course, impact the ground long before we do. Now, we're rotating around here. And we knew that this would be a likely issue. But I'm going to bring us down something kind of like this. Okay, there goes our fuel. That's absolutely expected. And we're going to be coming down pretty close here. But I don't think it's going to be within the loading range. Hopefully. Hopefully it's not within the loading range. Okay, let's maximize our traverse rate here. And we're just holding this attitude for right now. Okay. So we're going to come out of physics warp here fairly soon. We're still a little bit up here. I'm going to put us to surface up. Reaction wheel here is maximized. We're going to crank this around in a moment. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely not ideal. Not ideal at all. What exploded there? It was a solar panel. That's okay. We can live without that solar panel. So at this point, now we want to flip this thing back around, right? So the difficult part about that is, how do we do it? We experimented with it before, and we were successful. So we can do things like that to get ourselves up, right? We knew this would be a likely issue. Okay, so that got us into this position. If we fold it again, we're going to get back basically where we were. Okay, there goes one of those solar panels. It's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. There goes the other one. Again, not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. We just got to build up enough momentum here. I believe that was yet another solar panel going away. That's fine. And another solar panel. Hang on. We're good. Okay, we got there. Was it pretty? No, it was not. Let's get these brakes turned all the way up. And we're going to need to turn the traction control down on this. Of course, our power issue here is going to be substantial. There's no doubt about that. But we're going to need to get this thing driven on over. Keep in mind, we don't care about the condition of this rover. The rover is going to be absolutely nothing soon enough. These are currently inverted, so let's just go ahead and invert the steering on these. That's better. Oh, this isn't great. Okay, So our wheels are going in different directions. We tested this, but I'm not sure which wheels are going in what directions. So that's exciting. I'm going to invert the direction on the motors on this side, and we'll see if that fixes it. No, it does not. That is unfortunate. Okay. Wait a sec. Are you not on the ground? Okay. Motor is enabled on all of these. We do need to have our solar panel extended, and we also want to make... Whoa, no. Wow, that is so much power. Okay, we got to bring that traverse rate down. Let's retract those solar panels again. That traverse rate is way too much at this point. But we can definitely flip this. It's just a matter of getting the right momentum built up. That was close. Maybe? Yes. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to turn this traverse rate way, way down. We need to lower our center of mass here, and so we're going to set this at a target angle of about 90. Right about there. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to try to go forward. But yeah, we definitely have some wheels going in different directions, and it's really hard to tell which motors are inverted. That's interesting. I really wish we knew, because that's quite important. At this point, I'm just coasting. But going forward and backward results in a pretty significant turning motion and does not result in any sort of situation where we are actually moving forward and backwards. That means that some of these wheels are inverted. So the motor direction here is all in normal. The motor direction on this side is also all normal. As I attempt to turn here, we're not actually getting much turning motion. We can do this, and that gives us a lot of turning motion. The question then becomes... Oh, your reaction wheel is on. Let's turn your reaction wheel completely off. Okay, so some of these over here have to be going backwards, and some of these over here have to be going forwards. Let's just turn our Smart ASS off for right now. We're still seeing quite a lot of movement over this way, so that's noted. So the question is, what wheels are going what way? There's one easy way to figure this out. And that's to flip it again. So we're going to flip it up, much to my chagrin, and we're going to sit like this. Now what we can do is we can check each of these wheels. So I'm going to turn the brakes off, and we can see this is going this way, this is going this way, this is going this way. This is inverted, so we need to invert the motor direction here. This is inverted, so we need to invert that. But this one is not inverted. Okay, they should now all be going the same direction, I think. Let's be very cautious with this. Going like this. Hang on. This one's going the wrong way. So this needs to be inverted. Okay, going like this, 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 and this one is inverted. So we need to reverse that one. Okay, now all of our wheels should be going the same way. They're all going like this. Yes. Okay, cool. Now we need to flip this thing back up. This is insane. Okay. There we go. And let's turn that traverse rate right on back down, and let's lower our center of mass. Now we should be able to go where we want to go. But I'm going to check our directionality here. Okay. So these are currently inverted from the forward and backward direction. So I'm just going to flip that right on around. And now we should be good to go. Now we've only got 2 solar panels, and that's a little problematic for us, to be sure. And this thing does really like to turn, and this kind of floats upwards as we're doing this, which I think is odd. Smart ASS is off, but let's have the reaction wheels go to SAS only at this point. And that should solve that problem. Maybe not. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Regardless, we can just feather this and get there with no problem. So that seems fine. This is doable. It's not pretty. You can see our electric charge is nearly gone at this point, and that's not very surprising. We've blown most of our solar panels, but we're about to get in load distance out over here. And so that means that we have to turn on unbreakable joints and no crash damage at this time. I don't anticipate breaking anything else over here. So what we can do now is we can just slowly make our way up here. We do pull off to the side a little bit, that's for sure. But this is manageable anyway. And at this point, we're burning our electricity as quick as it comes in. I'm going to turn our brakes on. And we're just going to kind of chill here, because we need to build our electric charge back up. So that's going to take a little while on these 2 solar panels. We were definitely intending to have more than the 2 solar panels, but this is workable. It's fine. So we'll do that, and the question is, how many more recharges are we going to have to do on our way over there? Well, we'll find out. Let's come out of warp here, and I'm going to make a quick save basically anytime we do a recharge cycle. Can you sit at 90, please? Thank you. That was also not the right traverse rate, but whatever. So a quick save here, and let's head on forward. Maybe. We are not heading forward. I'm going to turn off the steering on these wheels. I think that our steering is a little much. And at this point, both directions are causing us to accelerate in the wrong direction. Both forward and backwards. What's going on here? We weren't having that problem before the recharge cycle. We're now just turning. Are we controlling from the wrong point? I don't know what's happening here. I'll be honest. We're not able to counteract anything at this point. Why aren't we going forward? We should be going forward. Did we have to build up enough momentum? I don't think so. Now we're going forward, very slowly, but we're going forward. We're building up a little bit of momentum here. I'm not sure what changed there. Something definitely did. I think we have to take this hill at a less extreme angle. We have to go out and around over this way, is my current theory. Now, we are going to run out of electric charge eventually. One thing we can do is we can run like a Gigantor out here to help us with that. I really don't like having this up at this angle. I want it to be at a lower angle. So let's go ahead and lower this down. It's not changing the... Whoa! It wasn't changing the hinge angle until I let go of the throttle. There's something weird happening here, because that was also not the correct traverse rate. And now it's acting like this again. Interesting. That's the correct traverse rate. So the hinge is somehow altering our control here. That's really strange, because we're controlling from here, which should be unaffected by the hinge. But I guess that means that we have to be doing this, but it's also acting like it's SASing. And it's not supposed to be. Smart ASS is off, SAS is off, and our reaction wheels are in SAS only, and I just turned down the authority on this reaction wheel. But it's really acting oddly. I think it might have to do with contact with some of our wheels. I don't know. That's my current theory. It's acting strangely, but this is doable, for sure. We can get there from here. It just might take a minute. But this is definitely not how I expected this thing to act. This is also significantly less power flow than I had hoped to have. But it's okay. So the question is, can we get up to the top of this hill? Well, we're going to run out of electric charge soon enough. I want to angle us a little bit more up the hill, but we have to counteract the turn because we just start, like, drifting, which is exciting. I wonder if we want to change our traction control. The other wheels, the traction control at 0 was correct, but maybe these wheels... Oh, we're loading in the base at this point. Okay, the base is loaded in, and the frame rate is gone. So that's understood. That's very exciting. At this point, we're just kind of coasting, and with our center of gravity being this high, I do not want to go too fast. Apparently, we can't change our center of gravity, and I don't know why. That makes our wheels act very, very strangely. I'm wondering if the issue there is we bring this back, that moves our center of mass back here, which puts more weight on these wheels and less weight on these wheels. That might definitely have something to do with it. But for now, we're recharging our batteries while on the move, and that's okay. We're kind of drifting downhill at this moment. And we're picking up some speed, but it shouldn't be too bad. Even if we do flip over, we know that we can flip this thing back. So it's not the end of the world if we do flip over. So for right now, we're just building up that electric charge. It is kind of the end of the world if we lose these 2 solar panels. Well, not really the end of the world exactly. More that we would need to send a Kerbal over to service this, which would be absolutely viable. But we'd like to get closer if possible. So we're currently traveling at about 8 meters per second. We're going to lose a lot of that speed going up this hill, and that's good. I want to lose some of that speed. Now we can kick in the motors. I'm going to kick in the motors once we get down to about 5 meters per second, I think. Somewhere around in there. Let's see if we can change our angle of attack here a little bit and head over more directly towards the base. Okay, so now we're at about 7 meters per second. We're going to crest this hill soon enough. Our electric charge is not going up very fast, and it's going to go down incredibly quickly once we kick in the motors, which I've just done. And you can see there goes our electric charge. Now our electric charge is going to completely disappear, and we're going to be operating just on the trickle of charge that we get from our solar panels here very soon. But we've almost crested this hill. Ooh. We definitely had a little bit of turn there that I did not want to have. So let's bring this back over this way. And I'm not running the motors at this moment, but we probably should be-ish. Okay, let's run the motors here until we run out of juice. Then This is actually a good spot to stop and recharge our battery. So let's bring this to a halt before we get into this downhill segment. We can build up some speed there, and we can actually see the base from here. It's right up over there. So I'm going to quick save here. And let's go ahead and warp on forward and get our batteries recharged. Okay, so our batteries are charged at this time. And we're going to head right on forward. Whoa. This is doing this again? I guess we have to reset this. And now it should act normally. That's so weird. Okay. Well, we're building up a little bit of charge, or rather a little bit of speed here, and that's absolutely fine. At this point, we are not running the motors. This battery charge should, I think, last us until the base, based on what I'm looking at for the terrain here. Assuming that that is actually the base that I see right up over there. Pretty sure it is. So let's just cruise on forward. I'm not putting any battery charge into this, and we're currently going forward fairly quickly. Perhaps a little too quickly. I'm thinking about actually pumping the brakes here. I'm going to try to turn us a little bit out and away from this rock. There we go. That's slightly better. Okay, rock bypassed. We're going too fast. We got to bring this speed down. I'm going to decelerate us until we're down to about 10 meters per second. This is 11. That's good enough. We're still gaining some speed here at this moment. Yeah, we're still gaining speed right now. Let's decelerate that down. There we go. That's down below 10. Now, I want to attempt to turn us a little bit, but this is dangerous because we're turning into the hill here, and we've got such a high center of gravity that we could tip over in this direction very, very easily. So I'm trying to be cautious with it. That's definitely the base there. And at this point, we definitely aren't going to need another recharge cycle. We are going to need to slow down more. But I'm just changing our angle of attack here a little bit. We're traveling at about 10 meters per second right now. Okay, that all looks good. Beautiful. And we're going to want to pump the brakes pretty soon. This thing takes a while to come to a halt. We need to figure out where we want to put this pad, but for the moment, I'm not that concerned about it. I'm going to turn the brakes on. We're turning a little bit off this way as we brake. I think that's fine. Okay, no more brakes for the moment. And we're starting to accelerate back up again here. Okay. That's exciting. And there's the Kraken. It should be, it should settle down. And the overall frame rate will get much better. I will be restarting the game here shortly. Why are you Krakening? Did you extend your wheels without being told to? Yeah, that's almost certainly what happened there. We'll have to deal with that, but that is something that we can do in the next episode. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we'll get that Kraken solved, and we'll get this frame rate under control, and we'll also hopefully get this pad set up. That's all the goal. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. Ooh, that's a good Kraken. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Opera Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.